If you crack first, Dave, it won't make you any less of a man.
I'm nowhere near cracking.
Neither am I, my friend.
Dave. And Matthew, what is it now? For God's sake, no one's smoking, okay?
But nothing!
You know what we need around here is an anti-whining ordinance.
So just sip your sniveling little lip and haul your skinny ass out of here!
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and we have had a lot of news concerning the DC creative teams coming out in March of 2021, following up on DC Future State. We don't have all the big titles. We haven't heard anything about the Batman titles or Superman titles, Justice League, stuff like that. But we do have some high-profile projects, and there's definitely a trend that we're seeing here. And here with me to talk about that is not only my co-host, Aurora, but El Percherino, the Boobon Comics himself, Perch. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, and I love the new co-host. This is excellent scheduling decision on your part.
Absolutely. She's bringing a lot more excitement to the stream. So there's some things that we can see just regarding the first 8 series. Obviously, we knew about James Tynion staying on Batman. We knew about Wonder Girl from Joelle Jones spinning out of the new Yara Flor Wonder Woman series. We've also heard James Tynion hint that he's got a Batman, I think Commissioner Gordon spinoff with Guillaume March. Out there as well. So we know a little bit, but when we see the new creative teams, there's a couple of things that are very consistent throughout. A lot of them have upcoming projects on HBO Max or movies, which I guess would be the HBO Max or the CW Arrowverse. A lot of screenwriters are attached to these rather than traditional comic book writers. Not very many, if any, well, Rafa Sandoval, really A or even B tier artists, talent involved. So it sounds like a lot of the things that we were expecting have come true.
Yeah, I think I was surprised by how many of the Future State teams were carrying over in the announcements that we've had so far. We've been told consistently that Future State was they were going to clear out some comics and clear out some stories, and that there would be, that they would be making time for the writers on the ongoing series in March to kind of catch up. But as they've been announced, a lot of these comics are the same creative teams that are doing their book in Future State. So it is providing a much closer tie than we were led to believe. But by and large, yeah, it's a lot of the things we have been saying. It is like I said, the most important, I think, message in all this is the creative teams are, and the writers are definitely screenwriters, and that connection to that world is very, very strong.
So we're going to get into the details now. We got Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, Swamp Thing, it's 6 total titles in total that we know of now. By the time this comes out, Superman, Batman, associated stuff should be starting to be announced. This is at a Brazilian Comic-Con. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoy these videos. Give us a thumbs down if you don't. And you'll definitely be hearing about the Batman, Superman information tomorrow. All right, let's do this part. So the big one is Wonder Woman. Obviously, Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman was a $1 billion movie. We were expecting Mariko Tamaki to remain on the series. She never announced that she was leaving. It sounded like maybe they were happy with her, but we are getting the Future State creative team, Becky Cloonan with their writing partner Michael W. Conrad, artist Travis Moore. Not what we expected, but this is a trend. We are seeing essentially the Future State creative teams are staying on the titles, and surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, this was a surprise because Mariko Tamaki's run was, it was turning out better than a lot of people believed. And I remember you and I actually did a show talking about what in the world are they doing putting Mariko Tamaki on Wonder Woman after Hulk and Wolverine. But it turned out her run was not bad. It was not amazing. It's not going to be one of these epic runs, but it was solid. It did seem aligned with what they were going to do with the movie that, of course, got delayed. Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad. Becky Cloonan has a bit of a reputation for being late. So I think they probably, I'm assuming they reached out to Christos Gage and he was busy. So, in comes Michael Conrad. Sorry there. I had to do it. But anyway, a partner writing team on this book, Travis Moore. To me, it's a strange mix because, DC is going to want Wonder Woman to be one of the top 3 books. You're going to want a very strong Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman title with everything they're trying to do. And this creative team is not like, it
doesn't scream by Wonder Woman.
No, it doesn't. And neither did the little quote at the show, which was we're going to let Wonder Woman have some fun. I mean, great. I mean, they did promise there will be some action, but then they also want Wonder Woman to have some fun. I mean, who doesn't want Wonder Woman to have some fun? But still, that's a weird way to bill one of your top 3 books in my mind. But we'll see.
So this was the first big surprise and really got me prepared for what the new creative teams are going to be coming out of Future State. Extremely underwhelming, because that's how I felt about the creative teams of Future State, although there are a couple of writers, one of which we're going to be talking about here in a moment. Now, another project that's coming out, one of the bigger titles, Green Lantern. It's going to have Jeffrey Thorne attached. He is a screenwriter. Artist Tom Rainey. He's been in the industry for a while, kind of nondescript, not the greatest artist in the world. Obviously, they have a Green Lantern led show coming up on HBO Max. Not surprised you have a screenwriter associated with the title. I think it's going to be led by John Stewart Kilwog and another character.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who the third character is going to be, though.
Yeah, that's what we've heard, and I would be not surprised to see Guy Gardner in the mix there as well. We had heard Guy Gardner was going to have a bigger presence in 2021. He is going to be part of some of the shows that are coming out. So, this definitely looks like a comic that's going to be linked to what they're going to do on HBO Max. It's very, very much aligned with all that, and so it does continue, and you're going to see it for a lot of the rest. They're picking writers that have screenwriter background, and these scripts and these arcs are going to feel like things served up to be potential contenders for crossing over to the show.
As a huge Green Lantern fan, that's probably my favorite title normally at DC Comics. If I'm going by this hero, it's normally Green Lantern. I'm pretty disappointed. Hopefully there's another Green Lantern title out there with Joshua Williamson or someone that writes comics attached to it.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they're dropping Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, and some of the other established heroes. Jessica Cruz. Why do they do nothing with Jessica Cruz anymore?
Yeah, it's strange to me. I mean, I get why you want to do something with Jon Stewart. He's been around for a while. He does have a screen presence on some of the cartoons and other things. I get why you want to do that, but I'm sure we will see Hal Jordan somewhere. I think he's gonna have a presence
or something.
Yeah, he'll have a presence in something. But Kyle Rayner and more so Jessica Cruz is a surprise. I mean, these are characters that you would think would definitely be ready-made to appeal to some of their more global outreach that they're trying to do. But I don't know. There's this weird thing with these companies where they don't, when they want to go to a new market, they want to have a diverse character to go represent this new market, rather than reaching back into the 20 years of their history where they have dozens of examples. They're like, oh, we need to create somebody new because we don't have anybody who could represent South America. It's like, okay. I mean, it's fine to create new, but hey, don't forget people in the past, okay?
Absolutely. So the next big title coming up is Teen Titans Academy. This is written by Tim Sheridan. I believe he was one of the writers on it's been on the CW for like 12 years. The horror show. Supernatural.
Supernatural, yes.
Yes, he's one of the writers on Supernatural. Artist Rafa Sandoval, definitely the best artist that they've announced so far. Now, I personally like Supernatural for 3 seasons, and then it just fell off a cliff, and they just redid the same storyline where one of the other brothers, they die and then have to be resurrected and they have to fix the whatever happened over and over. It got quite boring. Now, Teen Titans Academy, you look at the name, and this is definitely leading into the event in Future State. It's specifically talked about in that Future State Teen Titans story arc that there was an academy, it fell, and they're having to kind of pick up the pieces.
It does, and it also, in a weird way, it starts to become very familiar to what they're trying to do in the Titans TV show, which did get renewed for a 3rd season, and they will do more with that as well. It's this idea of the kind of heroes of tomorrow, and that maybe Nightwing is not up to the job of training them. I think thematically these things are all starting to feel very much the same, and definitely will lead into what happened in Future State. But also there's enough of a tie-in that the people coming from the Titans TV show will recognize a little bit of what's going on. I think that's intentional.
So what do you think about the character design for Nightwing wearing the mask of Deathstroke?
In Future State, I believe that's shown there. I mean, I think that's to some extent fan service. I think it's an image clearly designed to make people go, oh, how in the world could we get here? How in the world does Nightwing get to have Deathstroke's mask? They just finished a big Deathstroke arc, of course, with Titan season 2, and I think that's a lot of what's going on there. I would be surprised if that's indicative of much other than kind of fan service to pulling all these elements into one place. I'm not reading too much into it, but I know it definitely took a lot of people by surprise, and not in a good way. I would say most of the reaction I've seen has been negative.
You don't think the Teen Titans Academy is going to have a story arc of Dick Grayson kind of donning the Deathstroke uniform?
No, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see. I think what we're going to see is a lot of Dick Grayson. They're going to start to pull in elements from the first season of Titans. They're going to pull in this, trying to draw a contrast to when he was with Batman to who he is today, and also
so Dick Grayson's going to become Jason Todd.
Yeah, I think my suspicion is if you're a longtime fan of Dick Grayson, I suspect. I have no evidence other than my own gut feel. I suspect you're not going to love what's going to happen with him in the comics, because I do think they're going to want to align the comics more with the TV show than the Dick Grayson that or we know.
Yeah, well. It's a good thing we just had that wonderful, compelling Rick Grayson story arc for all the Dick Grayson fans, so they can have something to enjoy.
Yeah,
as they deviate from the character.
I predict a lot of really butthurt Dick Grayson fans toward the end of 2021, but we'll see.
Right here.
Yeah,
my second favorite character.
The pain continues. Yes.
Absolutely. So the next big title, Suicide Squad. Obviously, this is one of the big movies. James Gunn had come over from the MCU. Obviously, he was the Guardians of the Galaxy director for 1 and 2. He's come back for 3. He came over rebooting the Suicide Squad movie. You can see it looks like Peacemaker is going to be front and center. He's in the movie. They're doing a spinoff TV show. Robbie Thompson is going to be one of the creators. I think he might be the one that's Supernatural. But Ardos Eduardo Pensica. Obviously, Suicide Squad is important. They don't only have a movie; they have a spin-off TV show.
Yeah, I think, and the lack of surprise here is that the makeup of the team. I mean, Peacemaker. I think Joe said it really well on your stream yesterday. If you are a Peacemaker fan, then this is your year. 2021. It's finally come home for you. This is what a year to be alive. If you're a Peacemaker fan, you're getting a show. You're getting him front and center in the comic. You're definitely getting some Amanda Waller in here more. You got a Talon showing up there.
No Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I think they're at least. I don't know. I imagine Harley Quinn. I'd be surprised if they keep her completely separated from that, given that she is in the new movie. But we'll see.
Yeah, it should probably be in by issue number 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, Suicide Squad is another big property. As you can see, everything they've announced so far is tied in, to a TV show or a movie or something. And it does not end there. We've got next up Justice League Dark. Obviously, we've been hearing rumors that J.J. Abrams, who signed an exclusive deal with Warner Brothers on a huge production deal, was working on either a Justice League Dark TV show or a movie. Writer Ramby, this is actually a comic book writer, one of my favorite comic book writers. Art Zermanico, he's perfectly fine. Ramby has been working on Justice League Dark prior to this. He was co-scripting with James Tynion after he moved over to Batman. This one ought to be actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, this comic is, if you were a fan of the comic before Death Metal and Future State and all the rest, and you're getting more of it. I mean, that's what I think that's the comfort bit of all this news, is that not everything is getting relaunched, rebooted, new teams and everything else. This is going to continue what it's been doing, and I think it'll be fairly strong. I do think that as we head into more of 2021, we're going to hear more of the media plans, more of the movie plans, and it makes sense. I mean, it's a darker twist on movies. I've heard a number of people at Warner Media like the show Magicians and really want their version of it. I think it's going to have that blend of kind of some horror, some magic, some comedy, and this is a property that's kind of ready-made to do things with on HBO.
I think it's supposed to be doing a Constantine thing as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, the consistent message, if you haven't, for the people listening, if it's not absolutely clear yet, it's everything has a movie tie at this point. Or HBO Max TV show. Yeah, everything.
Arrowverse. So
Yep.
we know that like we're getting an Arrowverse Naomi. Obviously, we already know about Wonder Girl as well. So expect a Naomi announcement somewhat soon, maybe during the Superman family.
Maybe there was so I didn't see it, so I'll just throw this out there. But there are a number of people reported that there was a brief blip of a new Naomi comic that went out as a press release and it was pulled back for some reason. But
They dropped it too early.
yeah, they dropped it too early. So I think there absolutely is a Naomi comic coming, and
Hey, if Bendis needs to write anything at DC Comics, it's Naomi. It's one thing he did good.
Keep doing that stuff for him. Yeah, it's we'll see what that all looks, but clearly with a show, you're going to see that and Wonder Girl.
So the last one should give fans hope that if you were a fan of the Swamp Thing TV show that got canceled, well, it was a streaming show that got canceled because of a accounting error that ended up costing the production, I think, $20 million in tax write-offs that they ended up having to pay. Swamp Thing is coming back with writer Ram V. Like I said, probably my favorite writer, other than maybe Philip Kennedy Johnson, that's associated with Future State. Well, and Joshua Williamson, along with artist Mike Perkins. This is my favorite creative team that was on Future State. I'm glad they're sticking together. Swamp Thing is I think Saga the Swamp Thing Volume 1 is the second or third greatest comic story of all time by Alan Moore. Is a character I'm very I like a lot. So I'm happy they're bringing him back. I would imagine this is moving towards Swamp Thing taking control of the green and having to take control of the world. Yeah. I wonder if it's going to have anything to do with pollution.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think they definitely want that tie. There will be the show will get resurrected in some fashion when they get that stuff worked out. Swamp Thing is a property that Warner Media and DC and everybody really wants to play in. Ram B indicates that there will be at least a little bit more of a horror slant to it, and I think that's great too. So this is a good thing. Brand new number one. All these comics you talked about are listed as ongoing. They're all going to be, for whatever ongoing means in comics anymore. We're definitely getting that. And I think the other one we did. You mentioned the Wonder Girl series coming out. We talked about Naomi coming out. Sean Gordon Murphy announced that he's got 3 years to go with White Knight, so there'll be multiple of those books coming. I'm not sure how they'll announce all of that.
So if you want a comic book written for comic fans, you've got your own White Knight universe.
Yeah, and I think that's it's funny because I think that's how it's going to work out. I think if he's allowed to really expand the White Knight universe and add more titles, and he's doing the work with his wife on Harley Quinn right now, that's actually quite solid. She's a much better world builder than you'd expect coming out of a new writer. That's going to feel like
she's not a new writer. She's written novels.
No, but no, I mean for comics, in comics. I think that's going to be a place where a lot of traditional kind of comic stories can be told, and hopefully it works out that way, that there's something for everyone. It is interesting. And then of course this is Untitled Gotham comic. Your co-host is awesome. We have, it is weird. One of the things you and I talked about before we went on the air, and it's worth noting here that the team on Wonder Woman, Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad, are at least some level of couple. That they are dating. I don't think married, but they're dating, and I think you're seeing a lot more of this. If you actually go down the list of creators at DC, you're seeing more. James Tynion and Sam Johns, and you're seeing more and more kind of couples emerge. And it's just
Sean
interesting.
Gordon Murphy,
Sean Gordon Murphy, Katana Collins. There's quite a lot. And more coming apparently. So that's just interesting to note that it's not shrinking exactly, but it is interesting to see it being kept more and more in the family as time goes on.
All right, so I gotta make a prediction. Detective Comics, is Peter J. Tomasi still the writer?
No, I think I mean at this point the Vegas odds are really high that Mariko Tamaki is taking over Detective Comics.
What are the chances that Philip Kennedy Johnson is actually going to be writing Spider-Man or Superman at least?
I think low there as well.
Oh, come on! Just action?
Maybe action. I think that they're going to want to do something with Superman. I don't know. So the announcement of Cloonan and Conrad on Wonder Woman threw me for a loop because that was not something I was expecting. I hadn't heard it. It shuffled everything up. Now, in hindsight, if you're looking at it, you're going, okay, well, Mariko Tamaki was doing Dark Detective. That is the analogous book to Detective Comics. So, I mean, I guess we should have seen that coming. And it hasn't been.
That's also the book that's moving directly to Future State with Nakano and all that stuff going on.
Yeah, which also means that we're, if it is true that Tamaki gets on that book, they're setting her up for a multi-year, 2 to 3 year run on that title.
So when we're looking at that timeline, all that big bunch of books that takes place in 2025, like I think you're going to see all those storylines in the regular like continuity moving directly towards it, at least initially.
I think so too. I think that's absolutely what they're doing, and those are the ones that are the most likely to carry over. And then the further it goes out, the more it won't really touch on things, or it will be more of a hint or a suggestion rather than a clear storyline. But I think the stuff with Superman to watch is you got Superman, you have Action Comics, you have Superboy. There will be a Superboy title, there will be a Supergirl title. So of those four, kind of who's going to be on what? I'd love to see Ryan Kennedy Johnson on one of those. I'd love to see Tomasi on one of those. Somebody asked, where's Robert Venditti going? He's going somewhere that he's always wanted to go, but we don't know where, and he doesn't have the strong sales numbers to back up kind of a big high profile book, but I'd love to see it happen. I love the guy. So there's a lot of names floating around. Of course, Mark Waid's name.
The JSA are going to be in Black Adam.
Yeah, I think the JSA is a book. Yeah, that's true. I think JSA is a very, very likely candidate for a new ongoing series. And I think if we're trying to predict here, first thing, CCXP, this convention that's going on in Brazil right now, which really, I think by attendance has historically been the biggest. I mean, I think it's bigger than San Diego Comic-Con historically. That's something to watch. But the other one is just pull up HBO Max, look at all the different properties that they're promoting, they have on their screens, and I think there's your roadmap for what's going to happen.
Well, it sounds like Aurora says it's time to wrap it up, Perch. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you enjoy Perch but you haven't subscribed to his channel, there is a link to the video in the video description.
Thank you very much, and I love Aurora's now. Hey, Perch is talking too much. Shut him up. I love that.
She said, wrap it up.
Perfect.